Welcome to the basics of interviewing. For some of us, interviewing may come easy. But for others, it is stressful, challenging, and nerve-wracking. We are here to help make that a little less nerve-wracking for you. Before really getting started with tips on how to ace the interview, let's discuss some of the different types of interviews that you may encounter. One of the most common interviews that you will find are the telephone screenings. These are typically done for an organization to see if they should call you in for a face-to-face interview. Phone screenings tend to cover the basic components of your interest about the position and why you are qualified for the position. The next major type of interview is the individual interview. This is where you will meet one-on-one with the hiring manager and officially interview for the position. You may also find yourself in a panel or small group interview. Although these are not as common as the individual interviews, these tend to happen when a hiring manager is concerned about the team dynamic and wants to see how you will fit in with the rest of the group. Another type of interview that you may find yourself in is a behavioral interview. Just as it sounds, behavioral interviews are interviews that are only based off of behavioral questions. They ask for specific situations and how you handled those situations. And as if interviewing wasn't stressful enough, you may also find yourself in a lunch or dinner interview. This is an interview where you will sit down with the interviewer for a meal. Although you may find yourself answering questions just as you would in an individual or group interview, you now have the additional stress of proper etiquette while eating. Another rare type of interview that you may encounter is a stress interview. Just as it sounds, it is made to be stressful. Stress interviews are a way to see how a candidate reacts to unusual circumstances under pressure. The final type of interview that you may find yourself in is a case interview. A case interview is when the interviewer provides the candidate with a situation or problem for which the candidate must develop a solution. So I know what you may be thinking. How is this going to make you any less nervous when walking into an interview? Well, now that you know the different types of interviews, you can start to prepare for them and plan for them. Preparing for an interview is key to being successful. Whether you have interviewed a million times or this is your first time, you still want to go into the interview with a clear plan of attack and how you want to present yourself. The first thing that you want to do is to review the most commonly asked question. To properly answer these questions, develop important factors and components that should be included in your answers. For instance, the interviewer may ask you to tell them about yourself. Your response should include information about your professional interest, educational background, and professional background. Similarly, you want to be prepared for behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are the questions that are asking about specific situations. Your answer should include a brief story that has a beginning, middle, and an end. It may also help you to think of the STAR model when answering these questions. With the STAR model, you should clearly state the situation, the task at hand, the action, and the result. You will also be asked at the end of the interview if you have any questions. Be sure that you have thought about questions for the interviewer prior to the interview. These questions can be anything from what interests you about the organization, what type of candidate that they are looking for, and what the culture of the organization is like. However, be sure to avoid any questions about things like your schedule, job duties, or salary. These should all be things that you know prior to the interview or will be told to you at the conclusion of the process.
I'm still nervous that I won't do well in an interview.
That's completely understandable. If this is you, be sure that you are scheduling a mock interview with your Career Services department. Your advisor will be able to go over these questions, tips, and hints in more detail.
That's great! What else should I be doing to prepare?
How you dress for an interview is also very important. Be sure to plan out your outfit the night before. Make sure that it is clean and crisp. You may even have to iron it. You also want to make sure to print out and bring with you at least 3 to 5 resumes and reference pages. This may differ depending on what type of interview it is, but be sure to bring a couple more than you think you may need. After all, you never know who you may meet in the elevator. You also want to bring paper and pen in case you need to take any notes. Also be sure to give yourself plenty of time to travel to your interview. You never know what type of traffic you may hit or if there will be any accidents or detours. if you still have extra time when you first arrive, this will give you the chance to get any of the last-minute jitters out of the way. You can even try doing some power poses to continue to instill that confidence. And if you need more assistance in preparing, don't stress. We have put together many additional resources for you to utilize. Be sure to check out our interviewing webinars, career resource guides on your campus library page, an optimal interview in the Career Resources tab in your Campus Common and Student Portal. Good luck with practicing and preparing for your next interview!